Usually when we think about the collapse of an empire, we picture something, incredibly cinematic.
Right, like a movie.
Yeah, exactly. We imagine like barbarian hordes storming the city gates, or fire raining down, or even a global stock market cratering into dust in just a matter of seconds.
It's always loud and violent in our heads.
Right. It's this undeniable, highly visible rupture in the historical timeline. And we look back and say, that was the day the world ended.
It makes for a great story, certainly. I mean, we have this fundamental human bias toward dramatic, acute catastrophes.
Oh, totally.
We want our civilizational collapses to be obvious so that we can point to a specific villain or a specific event in the history books.
Yeah.
But it is much harder to process the idea of a slow, quiet ride.
Yeah, and what if the actual collapse doesn't sound like a roaring horde at all? What if instead it sounds like a pediatric nurse quietly calling out a name in a sterile suburban waiting room?
Which is quite the image.
It really is.
Yeah.
So let's unpack this for a second, because today we are venturing into a fiercely debated, incredibly polarizing, and deeply uncomfortable corner of modern culture.
We really are.
We're going to look at a theory that claims the end of the world is happening right now, in slow motion, basically, on birth certificates across the country. And before we jump in, I want to immediately ask you to like and subscribe to the show.
Yes, please do.
Today's deep dive is a comprehensive review of a highly provocative new ebook. It's titled Sticks and Stones: Why Stupid Names Ruin Western Generations by Conrad Riker.
That title alone gives you a sense of what we're in for.
Oh, absolutely. And we strongly encourage you to check out Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books right now to buy a copy for yourself. You should also follow the author at Conrad Riker on Substack.
So the mission we have for you today is to meticulously dissect this manifesto. It's been generating massive shockwaves, especially online.
Huge shockwaves.
Yeah, it is a text written very specifically for a men's rights activist and, well, what is often termed the red-pilled manosphere audience.
Right.
The central ambition of this book is to decode the history of our Western institutions, specifically looking at how they operated structurally before they were, in the author's view at least, captured and corrupted by feminists and Marxists.
Now wait, before we go any further, I need to lay down a very crucial disclaimer for you listening.
Very important.
As your guides to this material today, we are not taking sides, we are not validating these claims, and we are not condemning the author's politically charged viewpoints.
Exactly. Our goal here is strictly to act as impartial reporters.
Right, we are diving deep into the fascinating, polarizing architecture of the author's arguments. We want you to understand the exact mechanics of this worldview.
The book's core argument is, well, it's astonishing in its scale. Riker posits that the total, irreversible collapse of Western civilization begins not with a war, but with the seemingly innocent act of naming a child.
And he starts with this intense emotional hook, right? Like he doesn't start with data.
Nope, no data at first. He starts with a scene in a pediatrician's waiting room. He says he witnessed this, what he calls a defeated father.
Defeated.
Yeah, a defeated father who physically flinches when the nurse calls out his son's name. And the name is Peyton.
Just Peyton.
Just Peyton. Riker views this name as a beige, genderless, completely emasculated label. He claims it signals the surrender of the father's bloodline to the maternal hive.
So the author is drawing a direct line between a dad, letting his wife pick a trendy name, and the total collapse of Western imperial authority.
That is exactly the line he's drawing. And to explain it, he goes all the way back to ancient Rome, to a legal framework called patria potestas.
Which means the power of the father, right?
The supreme power of the father, yes.
Yeah.
In Rome, a newborn was not legally human until the paterfamilias, the head of the household, physically lifted the child from the earth.
Wait, really? Like physically pick them up from the dirt?
Literally lifted them from the earth and bestowed a name upon them. That act projected his dominion and civic governance into the future. Before that moment, the child had no legal standing.
That is wild. It's like this intense legal theater. So how does he connect Roman law back to modern suburbs?
He uses what he calls the keystone principle. Think about classical masonry, right?
Mm-hmm.
The keystone locks the arch.
Right, the wedge at the top.
Exactly. Riker argues the patriarchal name is the literal keystone of the domestic arch. You replace that heavy, strong stone with a weak one, and the entire structure of the family collapses.
And if the family collapses,
Then the empire collapses. He scales it right up to civilization.
wow. Okay, so from there, he pivots into some heavy philosophy, like what he calls the ontological crisis.
Yeah, he invokes Plato and Aristotle here. He argues that a name is not just phonetic. It's not just a sound to get someone's attention.
Right, it's deeper than that.
Much deeper.
Right, deeper.
He says a name is an objective marker of reality. He leans into the Judeo-Christian tradition too, specifically Augustine and Aquinas.
Oh, and the Adamic mandate? I remember this part. From Genesis.
Yes, the Adamic mandate.
Right.
God brings the animals to Adam, and Adam is tasked with naming them.
Right. God didn't ask Eve for, like, a committee vote.
That's Riker's point exactly.
Yeah.
Naming is a divine patriarchal act of ordering reality. To abdicate that to modern trends or to the mother is, in his words, theological rebellion.
That brings up that striking analogy he uses, the one about the architect.
Oh, the architect in the kiln.
Yeah, he says the naming rights belong to the architect, not the kiln.
It's a very blunt metaphor.
Yeah.
He views the father as the designer of the lineage, the architect with the blueprint.
And the mother's womb is just the biological vessel, the kiln that just fires the clay.
Correct. It reinforces his strict patriarchal framework. He believes the architect owns the intellectual property of the child's identity, basically.
I mean, if you think about traditional names, they're almost like a coat of arms, right? Like a heraldic shield you carry into battle.
That's a great way to look at it.
But with modern names, Riker is basically saying it's like burning that shield in the town square for, social media like.
Melting down your historical armor.
Yes.
Because he claims these soft, trendy names strip children of their heritage.
And this isn't just an accident to him. He points to a very specific historical villain for all this.
He does. He blames cultural Marxism. Specifically, the Institute for Social Research in Frankfurt, founded in 1923.
The Frankfurt School.
Right, figures like Felix Weil, Theodor Adorno, and Wilhelm Reich.
But wait, why would 1930s Marxist economists care about what a suburban mom names her kid in 2026?
It sounds like a stretch, but Riker's theory is that the Marxists realized they couldn't conquer strong, self-reliant Western men with economics alone. The working class wouldn't revolt.
So they had to attack the mind.
Exactly. They merged Marxism with Freudian psychoanalysis. Riker calls this the gynocentric erasure protocol.
But gynocentric erasure protocol, that sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It really does. The idea is that they aim to destroy the patriarchal family by pathologizing strong fathers. They label them as fascist or toxic.
Right, so if the strong dad is toxic, the mother takes over the identity creation.
Yes. And by pushing inclusive androgynous names, the left allegedly strips children of their historical armor. They become orphans of history.
Orphans of history. Ready for state programming. It reminds me of Orwell's 1984.
Oh, the Newspeak parallel. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, in 1984, if you eliminate the word for freedom, people literally can't think about freedom. Riker is saying if you eliminate the vocabulary of strong masculinity from our names, you eliminate the concept of masculinity from the human mind.
It's linguistic determinism applied to baby names.
It's wild. But, I mean, why do parents go along with this? They aren't reading Marxist theory before picking a name.
No, they aren't. And Riker diagnoses this as what he calls androgynous gateway narcissism, AGN.
AGM. Okay, so what is that?
He argues that modern mothers choose quirky or unisex names not out of love, but for social media validation. Maternal status signaling.
Oh, like the Jenner whim pivot.
Yes, the perfect example.
Yeah.
Kylie Jenner naming her son Wolf and then a year later changing it to Heir.
Like the kid is just a seasonal rebrand.
Exactly. A vanity accessory rather than a human being with objective dignity. And this leads to what Riker calls the barcode paradigm.
Right, the barcode paradigm. He lists names like Riley, Avery, Taylor, Jordan.
He says those names are easily scannable, interchangeable human barcodes, completely stripped of ancestral heritage.
But wait, let me play devil's advocate. Aren't these parents trying to be, like, unique by picking these modern names? They want their kid to stand out.
They think they do. But Riker brings in the Social Security data to counter that exact argument.
Oh, the naming statistics.
Right. The data proves millions of parents flock to the exact same trendy names at the exact same time.
So it's not rebellion at all.
Not at all. Riker calls it the apex of mindless hive mind conformity. They're terrified of the NPC mob, so they comply by adopting these soft names.
That is just, wow. Okay, so these barcode kids grow up, they enter the workforce. How does this affect them then?
Well, the book shifts to socioeconomic implications here. Riker claims the gynocentric matrix has weaponized corporate structures against traditional men.
Oh, this is the HR algorithm stuff.
Yes. He brings up that famous 2003 NBER resume study, the Emily and Greg versus Lakeisha and Jamal study.
Right, where they proved racial bias in hiring by swapping the names on identical resumes.
Exactly. But Riker argues that modern corporate HR and applicant tracking systems, or ATS, have hijacked this concept.
Hijacked it how?
He says these systems, infused with DEI principles, actively filter out traditional, strong Western names.
So if your name is Braxton or Hunter or Clint.
The software flags you. Riker claims those names are coded by leftist programmers as indicators of toxic masculinity.
So you don't even get an interview.
You don't even get seen. The goal is to starve strong traditional men of resources while promoting compliant androgynous workers.
Which leads to his apex syllogism of leadership.
Yes. Riker argues that boardrooms require absolute trust. Historically validated names subconsciously command that respect.
I remember he compares it to the stock market.
He does. He says naming your kid a joke name is like issuing a bad stock on the patriarchal exchange. Society will short it.
That is so brutally pragmatic. But even before the boardroom, these kids have to survive the playground.
The crucible of boyhood, yeah.
He introduces this idea called the prey marker theory, right?
That's right. It's the idea that a weak or gender-neutral name signals to bullies that the child is a soft target.
Like an injured animal in a herd.
Exactly. It signals they don't have a strong patriarchal lineage to defend them.
You know, it always brings to mind that Johnny Cash song, A Boy Named Sue.
Riker specifically attacks the premise of that song.
Yeah, the idea that giving a boy a girl's name will make him tough because he has to fight all the time.
Riker thinks that is incredibly irresponsible.
Oh, his analogy here is so brutal. He says, hoping your son gets tough through the trauma of a terrible name is like refusing to teach him to swim and hoping he learns by drowning.
It's a very effective visual. He says traditional names act as a psychological firewall.
Right, the phonetic hardness of it, like William, Thomas, Alexander.
Exactly. Hard consonants, definitive endings. They project authority.
And he contrasts that with the breathy, indecisive sounds of modern, trendy names.
The vowels that just sort of fall out of your mouth without any jaw tension.
Okay, so we've covered the history, the corporate algorithms, the playground bullies. What is his actual action plan?
This is where we get into the patriarch's praxeology.
The practical framework for men to reclaim their heirs.
Right. And it starts before marriage, with the prenuptial patriarchal agreement.
Wait, really? Before you even get married?
Yes. He advises establishing naming rights as a non-negotiable boundary while dating. If she doesn't agree, you walk away.
That is intense. What if you're already married, though?
Then you implement the conception clause.
Which is what, exactly?
Setting the absolute boundary the very moment the pregnancy test is positive. You tell your wife you are continuing a historical bloodline, not running a social experiment.
And then comes the naming constitution, with the 3 strict rules.
Rule 1, no names invented after 1960.
Okay, pretty clear.
Rule 2, no boys' names ending in the letter I, like Bodhi or Eli. He says it infantilizes them.
Right, it sounds too soft.
And Rule 3, absolute veto over any social media trends.
So how do you actually pick a name that passes his test?
You use his 3 pillars of Western dominance. First, it must be traceable to antiquity. Second, it must convey masculine virtue.
And third,
it must be able to withstand a formal introduction in the halls of justice without scorn.
Wow. But how does the author suggest handling the inevitable emotional conflict with the mother? Because she's going to be upset.
He says to use cold Aristotelian logic.
Just pure logic.
Yes, Socratic questioning to dismantle her female-coded emotionalism.
So if she says, oh, but everyone at yoga is using this name.
You point out the bandwagon fallacy. You dismantle it with stoic reason. You don't give an inch.
This has been such an intense, uncompromising journey through this manifesto.
It really is a sweeping architectural theory of cultural decline.
Yeah, connecting the deeply personal act of naming a child to the macroscopic survival of Western civilization. It's fascinating.
Truly.
We really hope you enjoyed this deep dive. Again, please like and subscribe to the podcast, to the show.
Yes, make sure to like and subscribe.
And definitely head over to Amazon Kindle or Google Playbooks right now to buy Sticks and Stones: Why Stupid Names Ruin Western Generations by Conrad Riker.
And follow @Conrad Riker on Substack, Twitter, and YouTube to join his community.
Yes, absolutely. But before we go, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. We've spent this entire deep dive looking at what we name the next generation. But consider your own name.
Think about it deeply.
Based on the etymological warfare and the phonetic programming we just discussed, what is the name you were given subconsciously programming you to do in this world? Something to mull over. Catch you next time.